Hello, welcome to my class. I am Pamela Jasmine. Today I am going to teach the second part of Bonku Babu's friend. Let's start. Who are you? Who are you? Why? These were English words. Was the question addressed to him? Bonku Babu swallowed. I am Bonku Bahari Datta, sir. Bonku Bahari Datta, he replied. So, here in the last class we have concluded when Bonku Bahari had an encounter with an alien. So he started to talk in another language and Bonku Bahari did not understand. But now he is speaking in English. Who are you? Then Bonku Babu got surprised because this alien or this strange being was talking in English. So Bonku Babu was surprised whether it was speaking to him. Then Bonku Babu replied, this is Bonku Bahari Datta. He replied, are you English? Are you English? The voice went on. Then the voice asked whether Bonku was an Englishman. No, sir, Bonku shouted back. Bengali, sir, a Bengali, sir. Then Bonku Bahari replied that he was a Bengali. This was followed by a short pause. Then the voice came back, speaking clearly. Namaskar. Bonku Babu heaved a sigh of relief and returned the greeting. Namaskar. When he said that he was a Bengali, then the voice spoke in Indian language. Namaskar. Then Bonku was very much relieved and he greeted him back. Namaskar. Suddenly realizing that the invisible bonds that were holding him tightly had disappeared. He was free to run away, but he did not. Now his astounded eyes could see that a portion of the glass mount was sliding to one side, opening out like a door. Then earlier, when Bonku was approaching the figure, Bonku Babu became still. That means he was not able to move. He felt as if he was tied up with an invisible rope. But now that bond was loosened. Now, see, that invisible bonds that were holding him tight had disappeared. Now he was free to move. That bond had disappeared and he was free to run away. If he wanted, he could run, but he did not run. Now, his astounded eyes could see that a portion of the glass mount was sliding to one side, opening out like a door. He heard that voice from that inverted giant glass ball that was shining pink. But now the sliding door appeared and that door slided to one side and it was opening like a door. Through that door emerged a head like a plain, smooth ball and then the body of a weird creature. Then through that door, a head appeared. It was plain and smooth. It was like a ball. The creature's head appeared like a ball and then the body of a weird creature. It was looking quite unnatural, weird. Its arms and legs were amazingly thin. With the exception of its head, its whole body was covered by a shiny pink outfit. Then his limbs, this creature's limbs were very thin and then the entire body was covered with a pink outfit or say a pink outfit. That means the body was covered with a pink dress. And instead of ears, it had tiny holes on each side of its head. See the description. So the head was round like a ball without any hair and the body was weird and the body was strange or unnatural and the limbs or the hands and legs were very thin and the body was covered with a pink outfit, except the head was seen out. And instead of ears, it had tiny holes on each side of its head. So in the place of ears, it had two tiny holes on either side of the head. And on the face, where two holes were there, should have been a nose and another gaping hole instead of a mouth. And on the face, there were two holes in the place of nose, and there was another opening that must be the mouth. And there was no sign of hair anywhere. Its eyes were round and bright yellow. They appeared to be glowing in the dark. And there was no sign of hair anywhere. It was clean. There was no hair anywhere. And his eyes, this creature's eyes were yellow in color, and it was shining brightly. Those eyes were glowing in the dark. It was shining brightly. The creature walked slowly towards Bonku Babu and stopped only a few feet away. Then it gave him a steady, unblinking stare. Automatically, Bonku Babu found himself folding his hands. The creature walked a few yards slowly towards Bonku Babu and stepped only a few feet away. So the creature came very close to Bonku Babu and it gave a steady, unblinking stare. The creature was looking at Bonku Babu without blinking. Then Bonku stood up with folded hands. He folded his hands unknowingly, automatically. Then, having stared at him for nearly a minute, it spoke in the same voice that sounded more like a flute than anything else. Are you human? Then the creature started talking. So he asked, having stared at him for nearly a minute, it spoke in the same voice. The voice sounded like the sound of a flute. What did it ask? It asked, are you human? Yes. Is this earth? Yes. The creature asked Bonku Babu whether he was a man, and it was earth. Yes. I thought as much. My instruments are not working properly. I was supposed to go to Pluto. I wasn't sure where I had landed. So I spoke to you first in the language they use on Pluto. So the creature also thought like that because his instruments were not working properly. He was on his way to Pluto, and as his instruments were not working properly, he landed here on the earth. So he mistook it for Pluto. That's why he talked to Bonku in the language spoken on Pluto. And when Bonku Babu did not reply, he understood that he had landed on the earth. A complete waste of time and effort. It happened once before. Instead of going to Mars, I veered off and went to Jupiter. Then he told that it was a waste of time. Once the same thing had happened to him when he was going to Mars. He had landed on Jupiter and he was delayed by one whole day, and it was a waste of time for him. Bonku Babu did not know what to say. He was feeling quite uncomfortable, for the creature had reached out and was examining Bonku Babu's arms and legs with its long, tiny fingers. When it finished, it introduced itself. I am Ang, from the planet Cranius, a far superior being than man. Then Bonku Babu was surprised. He did not know what to speak, and he was quite uncomfortable. Then the creature reached out to Bonku Babu and he started examining Bonku Babu's arms and legs with its long bony fingers. When it finished, it introduced itself. I am Ang, from the planet Cranius. The creature introduced itself as Ang, a creature from the planet Cranius. a far superior being than man. He introduced himself as a far superior being than man. What? This creature, barely 4 feet tall, with such thin limbs and weird face, was superior to man? Bonku Babu nearly burst out laughing. So Bonku Babu felt like laughing. Bonku Babu felt it funny. Oh, this creature is superior to man, only 4 feet tall with a weird face. Was he superior to man? Bonku Babu burst out laughing. And Ang read his mind immediately. There is no need to be so skeptical. I can prove it. How many languages do you know? Bonku Babu scratched his head. Bengali, English, Hindi, a little Hindi, I mean. Then Bonku Babu answered he knew Bengali, English and a little bit of Hindi. You mean 2.5? Then the creature asked whether Bonku Babu meant 2.5 languages. Yes, I know 14,000. There isn't a single language in our solar system that I do not know. Then the creature said that it knew 14,000 languages. He knew all the languages in our solar system. And I also know 31 languages spoken on planets outside your system. I have been to 25 of them. How old are you? Then he said that he knew 31 other languages spoken in the planets outside the solar system. And he had been to 25 of other planets outside solar system. He had gone to 25 other planets. That means that was outside the solar system. How old are you? I am 50. He asked the age of Bonku Babu and he was 50. I am 833. Do you eat animals? The creature's age was 833. Then, do you eat animals? Then he asked Bonku Babu. The creature asked Bonku Babu whether he eats flesh or whether he eats animals. Bonku Babu had mutton curry only recently on the day of Kali Puja. How could he deny it? Bonku Babu could not deny that he had eaten mutton on the day of Kali Puja. He admitted that he had eaten mutton. We stopped eating meat several centuries ago. Then the creature said that he had stopped eating meat several centuries ago. Ang informed him. Before that, we used to eat the flesh of most creatures. I might also have eaten you. Before that, he had stopped eating meat several centuries ago. And before that, he used to eat meat of all the creatures. And he had even eaten the flesh of man. Bonku Babu swallowed hard. Then Bonku Babu was scared. He swallowed hard. Take a look at this. And offered him a small object. It looked like a pebble. Bonku Babu touched it for an instant and felt the same electric current pass through his body. He withdrew his hand at once. Then Ang showed him a pebble-like object. Take a look at this. And offered a small object. It looked like a pebble. Bonku Babu touched it and he felt the same electric shock or electric current pass through the body which he felt earlier. He withdrew his hand at once and smiled. A little while ago, you could not move in an inch. Do you know why? It was because I had this little thing in my hand. Then Ang described. See, a little while ago you were not able to move because I had this object in my hand. Because it would stop anyone from getting closer. It would not allow anyone come closer. And Nothing can be more effective than this in making an enemy utterly powerless without actually hurting him physically. According to Ang, it was very useful to handle an enemy without hurting him physically. It can make an enemy utterly powerless without hurting him physically. Now Bonku Babu was genuinely taken aback. His mind was coming out of its stunned state. Then Bonku Babu was out of his fear and he was coming to normal. Ang said, "Is there any place that you have wished to visit or a scene that you have longed to see but never could?" Then Ang asked Bonku Babu whether there is any place that he wished to see and was not able to see, or any scene which you wanted to see and it never happened. Bonku Babu thought, why, the whole world remained to be seen. He taught geographically, but what had he seen except a few villages and towns in Bengal? There was so much in Bengal itself that he had never had the chance to see. When Ang asked whether he wanted to see any place and he was not able to see it, then Bonku Babu thought that there were many places. The entire world is there to be seen. He had seen only some places in Bengal, and there are so many places unseen even in Bengal. There was so much in Bengal itself that he had never had the chance to see. The snow-capped Himalayas, the seashore in the Digha, the forest in the Sundarbans, or even the famous banyan tree in the botanical gardens of Shibpur. He wanted to see so many places. He wanted to see the snow-capped Himalayas, then the seashore in Digha, and the forest in Sundarbans, or even that famous banyan tree in the botanical gardens of Shibpur. He wanted, as a geography teacher, he wanted to see so many places. Being a geography teacher, he knew places, but he wanted to see. However, he mentioned none of these thoughts to Anne. There is so much I wished like to see, he finally admitted. But most of all, think I would like to visit the North Pole. I come from a warm country, you see. So, then Bonku Babu did not mention any of these places. But finally, he said that there is so much I would like to see, but mainly he wanted to see North Pole because here North Pole is very cold and he belonged to a warm country. That's why he wanted to see the North Pole. Anne took out a small tube, one end of which was covered by a piece of glass. Take a look at this, Ang invited. Then Ang took out a tube-like thing. One end of it was covered with a piece of glass. And take a look through this, he invited. Ang invited Bonku Babu to have a look through this tube. Bonku Babu peered through the glass and felt all his hair rise. Could this be true? Could he really believe his eyes? Before him stretched an endless expanse of snow, dotted with large hillocks, also covered with ice and snow. So Bonku Babu looked through the glass tube, and he got shocked, or he was so surprised, and he could not believe his eyes. Could he really believe his eyes? Before him stretched an endless expanse of snow. So he could see the North Pole through this tube, dotted with large hillocks, also covered with ice and snow. So there was a wide land of snow and with large hillocks also covered with ice and snow. Above him, against a deep blue sky, all the colors of a rainbow were forming different patterns. And above him, he could see rainbow colors, all the colors of the rainbow, and forming different patterns. Patterns changing every second. This pattern is getting changed in every second. The aurora borealis. What was that? He could see aurora borealis. What is aurora borealis? That is reddish and or greenish light seen in the North Pole, or we can call it northern lights. What was that? An igloo. There was a group of polar bears. Wait, there was another animal, a strange, peculiar creature. So he could see polar bears and igloo, and he could see another strange creature. Yes, it was a walrus. There were two of them, in fact, and they were fighting. He could see two walruses, and they were fighting. Their tusks were bared, large as radishes, and they were attacking each other. Streams of bright red blood were flowing on the soft white snow. Their tusks were bared large as radishes. Their these walruses' tusks were like radish, and they were fighting and they were attacking each other, and streams of blood were flowing on the soft white snow. It was December, and Bonku Babu was looking at an area hidden under layers of snow. He broke out into a sweat. It was December, and then the entire area was hidden under layers of snow, and he broke out into a sweat. And Bonku Babu was shocked, and he started sweating. What about Brazil? Don't you wish to go there? Asked Anne. Bonku Babu remembered instantly. Piranhas, those deadly carnivorous fish. Amazing. Then Anne asked him whether he wanted to see Brazil. Then Bonku Babu remembered about piranhas, flesh-eating fish, carnivorous fish. How did this Anne know what he would like to see? Bonku Babu peered through the tube again. He could see a dense forest. Only a little scattered sunlight had crept in through the almost impenetrable foliage. Then Bonku Babu was surprised. How could Anne know that Bonku Babu wanted to see all these things? And then Bonku Babu saw through the tube again, and then he could see a dense forest. Only a little scattered sunlight was penetrated through the foliage, and because it was a thick forest. There was a canopy, and through the canopy only little sunlight was penetrated. And there was a huge tree, and hanging from a branch, what was that? Oh God, he could never even have imagined the size of that snake, anaconda. When he had seen through that tube again, he could see thick forest, and he had seen a huge tree and a snake, very large snake, was hanging on from a branch of that very big tree, very tall tree. And then he could recognize that the snake was anaconda. The name flashed through his mind. Yes, he had read about it in an old issue of National Geographic magazine. He could recognize because he had read in a old National Geographic magazine. It was said to be much, much larger than a python. In that magazine, it was said that it was very much larger than a python. So now he could see the anaconda through the tube. Oh, here was a canal. Crocodiles lined in its banks, sleeping in the sun. One was going to go into the water. Splash! Bonku Babu could almost hear the noise. Then he could see a canal, and there were crocodiles lying on the banks of the canal, and crocodiles were sleeping in the sun. And then one was going into the water, and it plunged into the water, and Bonku Babu could hear the sound of plunging into the water. But the crocodile had jumped out of the water very quickly, with his eyes nearly popping out. Bonku Babu noted that there was virtually no flesh left on the belly of the crocodile. Bones were showing thorough clearly. The crocodile that plunged into the water came out immediately with popped out eyes, and Bonku Babu was shocked to see that the entire flesh of the crocodile was eaten. There was virtually no flesh left on the belly of the crocodile. Bones were showing through clearly. He could see the bones of the crocodiles clearly. Attached to the remaining flesh were 5 fish with amazing sharp teeth and a monstrous appetite, piranhas. So the crocodile was attacked by piranhas. So piranhas are fishes that eat the flesh of any creature, and it would be very fast. Within minutes, it would finish the entire flesh of the creature, and only the bones will be remaining. The bones will be left. So here he could see 5 piranhas eating up the flesh of the crocodiles. With monstrous appetite. Piranhas have a great appetite. It could finish so much. It could eat the flesh of any creature very, very fast. Bonku Babu could not bear to watch anymore. His limbs were trembling. His head reeled painfully. So Bonku Babu was so much excited, and he was shocked also. He could not bear any more sights like that. He got scared. Then, now, do you believe that we are superior? And wanted to know. Bonku Babu ran his tongue over his parched lips. Yes, oh yes, certainly, of course, he croaked. Now, he had shown all these things to prove that he was superior. So, and asked Bonku Babu whether he could agree that they were superior to humans. Then Bonku Babu just immediately answered that, yes, certainly, of course. Very well, look, I have been observing you, and I have examined your arms and legs. You belong to a much inferior species. Then the creature or Ang said that I have been examining you and or observing you, and I have examined your arms and legs, and I came to know that you belong to a very inferior species. There is no doubt about that. However, as human beings, go, you are not too bad. I mean, you are a good man. So, human beings are inferior to Ang, but if he considers all the human beings, Bonku Babu was not bad. He means Bonku Babu is very good. You are a good man. But you have a major fault. You are much too meek and mild. That is why you have made so little progress in life. Then he continued. Then Ang continued. You are at fault. You are much. But you have much. You have a major fault. You are much too meek and mild. You are very submissive and very soft. That is why you have made so little progress in life. That's why you are not able to proceed in life. You have made very little progress in life because you are meek and humble. You must always speak up against injustice and protest if anyone hurts or insults you without any provocation. Then Ang advised him, you must always speak up against injustice, and if anyone hurts you or anyone insults you without any provocation, you should stand against it, and you have to speak. You should protest. To take things quietly is wrong, not just for man, but for any creature anywhere. You should not suffer, or you should not take anything quietly. That is wrong. And even if it is man or any creature, If they are wrong, you should speak. You should stand against it and speak. Anyway, it was nice to have met you, although I wasn't really supposed to be here at this time. Then he said that it was nice to meet him. There is no point in wasting more time on your earth. I had better go. Then Ang said that there was no meaning in waiting over there and wasting his time. So he wanted to leave. Goodbye, Mr. Ang. I'm very glad to have made your. Then Bonku Babu started to talk, but the creature immediately left. Bonku Babu could not complete his sentence. In less than a second, almost before he could grasp what was happening, Ang had leapt into his spaceship and had risen over Ponjagod's bamboo grove. Before Bonku Babu could complete this sentence, within a second or in less than a second, the creature entered the spaceship and risen over Ponjagod's bamboo grove. Then he vanished completely. Bonku Babu realized that the crickets had started chirping again. It was really quite late. Then Bonku Babu realized that everything was back to normal. There was a strange silence when the spaceship was there, but now everything was back to normal. The crickets started chirping, and it was really quite late, and it was late. Bonku Babu resumed walking towards his home, his mind still in a wondrous haze. Slowly, the full implications of the recent events began to sink in. Then Bonku Babu resumed walking towards his home. Then he started recollecting the events happened to him, and he was in a confusion. And slowly, haze means confusion. His mind still in a wondrous haze. Haze means confusion. Slowly, the full implications of the recent events began to sink in. Then full events flashed through his mind. A man, no, it was not a man, it was an Ang, had come here from some unknown planet and spoken to him. He realized that a creature from another planet came to the earth, and that creature had spoken to him. How extraordinary, how completely incredible. There were billions and billions of people in the world, but who got the chance to have this wonderful experience? Then he was thinking that there are millions and millions of people on this earth, and this alien came to this earth and talked only to him. He got that chance of talking to the creature from another planet. Then, how completely incredible. There were billions and billions of people in the world, but who got the chance to have this wonderful experience? Only Bonku Babu got the chance of this wonderful experience. And Bonku Bihari Datta, teacher of geography and Bengali in the Kanburgachi village primary school. And then he thought that only Bonku Bihari Datta, the school teacher of this Kanburgachi village school, got the chance to speak to this alien. No one else. From today, at least in this particular matter, he was unique in the whole wide world. Then Bonku felt that he was unique at this particular at least to this particular matter, he was unique. Bonku Babu realized that he was no longer walking. With a spring in every step, he was actually dancing. Then Bonku Babu became confident, and he started walking in a different way. Then it was no longer walking, he was actually dancing as if there is a spring in every step. The next day was Sunday. Everyone had turned up for their usual meeting at Sripati Babu's home. There was a report in the local paper about a strange light, but it was only a small report. The next day was Sunday, and everybody gathered at Sripati Babu's home for the meeting, and there was a small report in the newspaper about a strange light. But it was seen by a handful of people, and this light had been seen by a handful of people in only 2 places in Bengal. It was there being put in the same category as sightings of flying saucers. Only few people had seen the strange light, and it was seen only in 2 places in Bengal. So they considered it as flying saucers. And tonight, Ponja Ghosh was also present at the meeting. He was talking about his bamboo grove. All the bamboos around the pond in the middle of the wood had lost all their leaves. Ponja Babu was also present at the meeting, and he talked about his bamboo grove, because all the bamboos around the pond in the middle of the wood had lost all their leaves. It was not unusual for leaves to drop off in winter, but for so many plants to become totally bare overnight was certainly a remarkable occurrence. It was a common thing that in winter trees shed leaves. But overnight, so many trees became bare. That means so many plants to become totally bare. That is unusual. Overnight, it could not happen. But here, so happened. Everyone was talking about it when suddenly Bhairav Chakravarti said, "Why is Bonku so late today?" Everyone was talking about that Ponja Ghosh's bamboo bush and losing of leaves, and all the trees became bare overnight. And about they were talking like that, and somebody asked about Bhairav Chakravarti asked about Bonku Babu. Bonku Babu did not turn up yet. Everyone stopped talking. So far, no one had noticed Bonku Babu's absence. When Bhairav Chakravarti mentioned about Bonku Babu's absence, everyone stopped talking because they did not notice it. I don't think Bunkam will show his face here today. Didn't he get an earful yesterday when he tried to open his mouth? Nidhu Babu said, he did not think that Bonku Babu would appear that day, because the previous night he had got earful. The previous day, Bunkam, they called Bonku Babu Bonkam to tease. And he told the previous day, Bonku Babu got an earful when he opened his mouth. Said, no. Sripati Babu sounded concerned. We must have Bonku. Ramkanai, go and see if you can get hold of him. Then Sripati Babu said, we cannot avoid him. Then he appointed Ramkanai to go and see whether Bonku Babu was there. Okay, I'll go as soon as I've had my tea, replied Ramkanai, and was about to take a sip when Bonku Babu entered the room. Then Ramkanai said that he would go and find Bonku Babu after drinking his tea. Then suddenly Bonku Babu appeared. No to say entered would be wrong. So Bonku Babu entered. We cannot say that it was an entry. It was as if a small hurricane swept inside in the guise of a short, dark man, throwing everyone into stunned silence. So it was such an entry that he entered as if a hurricane entered in the guise of a short, dark man, throwing everyone into stunned silence. So everyone was shocked because Bonku Babu entered like a hurricane. So fast his entry was noted by everyone. Then it swung onto action. Bonku Babu burst into a guffaw and laughed uproariously for a whole minute, the like of which no one had heard before, not even Bonku Babu himself. Then Bonku Babu swung into action. Bonku Babu laughed very loudly. It was an uproar of laughter, and nobody had ever heard such a laughter. Even Bonku Babu did not hear him laughing like that. When he could finally stop, he cleared his throat and began speaking. Friends, I have great pleasure in telling you that this is the last time you will see me at your meetings. Then Bonku Babu declared that, friends, I have a great pleasure to inform you that this is the last time I am attending your meeting or you see me at your meeting. The only reason I am here today is simply that I would like to tell you a few truths before I go. Bonku Babu appeared there to tell them some truths. Number 1. This is for all of you. You all speak a great deal of absolute rubbish. Only idiots talk of things they don't know anything about. He wanted to tell some truths about them. This is about everyone. Oh, so only idiots talk. You all speak a great deal of absolute rubbish. You all talk nonsense. Only idiots talk about the topics which they do not know. And number 2, this is for Chandi Babu. At your age, hiding other people's shoes and umbrellas is not just childish, but totally stupid and wrong. Then Chandi Babu, he used to hide other people's umbrella and slippers and all. So he was telling that it was not childish, but it was stupid. It was totally stupid and wrong. Kindly return my umbrella and brown canvas shoes to my house tomorrow. Then he ordered Chandi Babu to return. It was not an order. He said, kindly return my shoes and umbrella to my home tomorrow. Nidhu Babu, if you call me Bunkam, I shall call you Nitwit. And you must learn to live with that. Then he called Nidhu Babu and said, if you call me Bunkam anymore, I will call you Nitwit and you have to bear it for your remaining life. And Sripati Babu, you are an important man. Of course, you must have chamchas, psychopaths. You are an important person, but you must be having chamchas, people around you to praise you, or psychopaths. But let me tell you, from today you can count me out. If you like, I can send my cat to you. It is quite good at licking feet. Today onwards, I am not there to be your chamcha. And if you want, I will send my cat. Cats are good at licking feet. And oh, you are here as well, Poncha Babu. Let me inform you and everyone else that last night an ang arrived from the planet Cranius and landed on the pond in your bamboo grove. We had a long chat. The ang was most amiable. Then he informed Poncha Babu that the previous night an ang arrived from the planet Cranius and ang arrived from the planet Cranius and landed on the pond in your bamboo grove, and they had a long chat, and ang was very friendly. Amiable means friendly. Bonku Babu finished his speech and slapped Bhairav Chakravarti's back so hard that he choked. Then Bonku Babu slapped at Bhairav Chakravarti's back so hard and he even choked, because Bhairav Chakravarti used to slap Bonku Babu's back, so he returned it, and then he made his exit, striding out with a bounce and a whistle, his eyes sparkling, his head held high. Then he made his exit, striding out with a bounce and a whistle. Then he bounced and he whistled and he exit like that. His eyes were sparkling and his head held high. In the same instant, the cup fell from Ramkanai's hand, shattering to pieces and splattering hot tea on most of the others. Then Ramkanai was also shocked and his cup fell from his hand and the cup was broken into pieces and the hot tea splashed on everyone. So that was the end of the story. And if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching. God bless.